You know, our skin is our body's first line of defense, and it's pretty incredible at healing itself. But what happens when the damage is so severe that it just can't keep up? Well, that's where tissue engineering steps in with some truly remarkable technology designed to help rebuild skin, literally from the ground up. Okay, so just take a look at this. This is not your everyday cut or scrape. What you're seeing is a massive wound on a patient's scalp after a tumor was removed. It goes all the way down to the bone. There's no way the body's natural healing process can bridge a gap this huge on its own. So what do? For most injuries, our skin has this amazing built-in repair system. But for really deep, widespread wounds like the one we just saw, or for patients who have other health issues like poor circulation, for example, that natural system just gets overwhelmed. The wound stalls out and can become chronic, sometimes failing to heal for months or even years. Now, for a long time, the standard solution was skin grafting, which means taking a piece of skin from one part of the body and moving it to cover the wound. But that comes with some serious downsides. First, you're creating a second wound where you took the skin from, and that can be really painful. Plus, there's only so much spare skin you can take, and sometimes the graft just doesn't take, it fails. All of this really pushed researchers to find a better way. And that better way is the world of skin substitutes. The best way to think about this is to stop thinking about patching a hole and start thinking about it like a biological construction project. We're not just covering the wound anymore. We're giving the body a blueprint and the actual materials to rebuild a brand new layer of skin, the dermis. The core idea here, the absolute heart of every skin substitute, is the scaffold. It's exactly what it sounds like, just like the scaffolding on a building. It's a 3D structure that provides a framework, a kind of jungle gym that your own cells can crawl into, hang onto, and use as a guide to build new tissue in an organized way. And this isn't some foreign plastic. These scaffolds are built from the very same proteins and polymers our bodies already know and love, things like collagen for strength and hyaluronic acid for moisture. Because the materials are so familiar, it actually encourages our own cells to move in and get to work on regenerating the area. But here's where it gets really strategic. Not all scaffolds are made to do the same job. When clinicians look at a wound, they have two fundamentally different paths they can take, which fall into two main categories: permanent substitutes and temporary ones. And these two types have totally different goals. On one side, you have permanent bio-conductors. These are designed to be a permanent framework. Your cells move in, set up shop, and it becomes a fully integrated part of your body, a brand new dermal layer, or neodermis. Then on the other side, you have temporary bio-inductors. Their job is to just kickstart the healing process, get the body to create a fresh layer of connective tissue and blood vessels, what's called granulation tissue, and then they just dissolve away. And this, right here, brings us to the most critical part of this whole story. With these powerful tools available, how on earth does a surgeon decide which one to use? It's a really high-stakes decision that depends on the wound, sure, but it depends even more on the patient. So let's really get into it. The choice between that permanent, move-in scaffold and the temporary Kickstarter one isn't a guess. It is a very calculated decision, and it's based on a deep dive into the patient's own ability to heal. And really, it all starts with the blood supply. I mean, think about it. For that permanent scaffold to actually become living tissue, it needs oxygen, it needs nutrients, it needs a construction crew. Your blood vessels are the highways that bring in all the cells and all the materials needed to build that new dermis. Without good blood flow to the wound, the whole project is basically dead in the water before it even starts. So to find out if the blood supply is up to the task, clinicians use some really specific tests. They'll use Doppler to check blood flow speed, they'll compare blood pressure in the arms and ankles, and they can even measure oxygen levels right through the skin. And that last one, the transcutaneous oxygen, or TCPO2, that's a big one. If that number drops below 30, it's a huge red flag. It tells the doctor, whoa, hold on, before we even think about a permanent solution, we have to fix the blood flow. But the local blood supply is only one piece of the puzzle. The patient's overall health plays a massive role here. A wound doesn't heal in a vacuum, right? If a patient has other systemic issues going on, like diabetes or other circulation problems, their body's entire healing engine is already running at half speed. So you can see how this all clicks together. If the tests show poor blood flow, or if the patient has significant health challenges, trying to put in a permanent scaffold is just too risky. It's very likely to fail. In those cases, the clinician is going to make the smarter choice and go with a temporary bio-inducer. The goal changes. It becomes about stimulating the wound bed, preparing the terrain, and giving the body a much-needed boost to build a better foundation for healing down the road. You know, there's a line from the source material that just sums it all up perfectly. It's not about finding the best product, it's about finding the right tool for the right wound on the right patient at the right time. It's really a masterpiece of personalized medicine. Okay, so we've covered the theory and the strategy. Now let's see how this all comes together in a real world case. We're going to go back to that patient from the beginning, the one with that massive wound on their scalp. On the left, you can see the sheer scale of the challenge here. It's a huge defect, right down to the skull. Now, for this patient, after doing a full workup of their health and vascular supply, the surgeons felt confident choosing a permanent bio-conductive scaffold. And on the right, you can see it stitched perfectly into place, covering that entire wound bed. And this is where the amazing part happens. Over the next 2 to 3 weeks, the body just gets to work. The patient's own cells and tiny new blood vessels start migrating into that collagen framework. So the scaffold isn't just a patch. It's being actively transformed, cellularized, and vascularized. It's becoming a new, living layer of dermis that is permanently part of the patient. So once that brand new dermis was established and healthy, it was then covered with a very thin skin graft to create the final top layer. And the result? A stable, durable, and completely healed scalp. This isn't just closing a wound. It's a functional reconstruction that allowed this patient to make a full recovery. And that really is the ultimate ambition for this entire field of medicine. The source material uses this fantastic Latin phrase, restitutio ad integrum. It means a complete restoration to the original state. The goal isn't just to patch a hole, it's to restore form and function as completely as humanly possible. What technologies like skin substitutes really show us is that we can learn to work with the body, to guide its own incredible regenerative power to achieve things that once seemed impossible. And it really makes you wonder, as we get better and better at engineering biology itself, what's the next frontier? What parts of the human body will we be able to regenerate next?